Welcome to Motive Mystery, where the wisdom of the ages meets the challenges of today. In today's video, we delve into the intriguing life and philosophy of François de La Rochefoucauld, a notable French author renowned for his moral maxims. Born in 1613 in Paris, La Rochefoucauld was a part of the French nobility and became famous for his deep insights into human behavior and social mores. His works, particularly his collection of maxims and reflections, reveal a keen understanding of the complexities of human nature. La Rochefoucauld's writings, characterized by their brevity and wit, provide profound observations on love, friendship, morality, and the human condition. Despite facing adversities in his early life, including involvement in the French Civil War, La Rochefoucauld emerged as a leading figure in French literature. His philosophical thoughts continue to resonate, offering timeless wisdom that challenges and enlightens modern readers. Join us as we explore 30 of La Rochefoucauld's most enduring maxims, each a testament to his sharp intellect and the enduring relevance of his observations. No persons are more frequently wrong than those who will not admit they are wrong. François de La Rochefoucauld, a 17th century French moralist, is known for his sharp observations on human behavior and society. This quote encapsulates the irony of human nature, where admitting one's mistakes is often harder than making them. In a culture that often values pride over humility, this quote reminds us of the importance of self-awareness and growth. Absence diminishes small loves and increases great ones, as the wind blows out the candle and fans the bonfire. François de La Rochefoucauld, known for his maxims, keenly observed the dynamics of love and absence. This maxim reflects on how separation can either weaken a fragile relationship or strengthen a deep one. In today's connected world, this quote reminds us of the true test of love's resilience and depth. If we had no faults, we should not take so much pleasure in noting those of others. La Rochefoucauld's insight into human nature reveals our tendency to observe others' flaws. This quote suggests that our fascination with others' faults often reflects our own imperfections. It encourages introspection and understanding rather than judgment in our interactions. It is easier to be wise for others than for ourselves. La Rochefoucauld often explored the challenge of self-awareness and wisdom. He implies that we can readily offer advice to others, yet struggle to apply it to ourselves. This quote serves as a reminder to practice self-reflection and apply our own wisdom. We are so accustomed to disguise ourselves to others that in the end, we become disguised to ourselves. This observation by La Rochefoucauld delves into the concept of self-perception and authenticity. He suggests that the facade we often present to the world can eventually obscure our true selves. The quote encourages authenticity and self-awareness in our daily lives. We promise according to our hopes and perform according to our fears. La Rochefoucauld's maxims often reveal insights into human behavior and motivation. This quote suggests our actions are influenced more by fear than by our initial intentions or hopes. It highlights the human tendency to shift behavior based on emotions rather than commitments. True love is like ghosts, which everybody talks about and few have seen. In his maxims, La Rochefoucauld often touched on the elusive nature of love. This quote reflects the paradoxical nature of true love, widely discussed but rarely understood. It implies that true love, while often idealized, remains a profound mystery for many. Our envy always lasts longer than the happiness of those we envy. La Rochefoucauld was adept at uncovering the less flattering aspects of human nature. This quote examines the persistent nature of envy compared to the fleeting nature of happiness. It suggests that negative emotions like envy can have a longer impact on us than the positive experiences of others. One cannot answer for his courage when he has never been in danger. This maxim from La Rochefoucauld highlights the concept of untested bravery. He points out that true courage can only be assessed when faced with real danger. It underscores the difference between theoretical courage and courage proven in adversity. There are some people who would never have fallen in love if they had not heard there was such a thing. La Rochefoucauld insightfully comments on the influence of societal norms on personal emotions. This quote reflects on how external influences can shape our experiences of love. It suggests that sometimes our perceptions of love are more about social expectation than genuine feeling. A refusal of praise is a desire to be praised twice. La Rochefoucauld highlights the complexity of human ego and the desire for recognition. This maxim suggests that sometimes modesty is just another form of seeking more attention. It challenges us to introspect the true motivations behind our actions. The height of cleverness is to be able to conceal it. In this maxim, La Rochefoucauld addresses the subtlety and strategy in displaying intelligence. He implies that true intelligence is not just about knowledge but also knowing when to reveal it. This quote invites reflection on the use of wisdom in social interactions. We rarely think people have good sense unless they agree with us. La Rochefoucauld offers a critical view of human self-centeredness and judgment. This quote points out our tendency to equate agreement with intelligence. It challenges us to acknowledge diverse perspectives and the validity of differing opinions. We only confess our little faults to persuade people that we have no big ones. La Rochefoucauld insightfully observes the strategic nature of self-disclosure. This quote suggests we often admit minor flaws to hide greater ones, a tactic to preserve our image. It reflects on the human tendency to manipulate perceptions of our character. Hypocrisy is a tribute that vice pays to virtue. This maxim by La Rochefoucauld delves into the relationship between vice and virtue. It implies that even in wrongdoing, there is an acknowledgement of virtue's inherent value. The quote invites reflection on the ironic nature of how we often disguise our faults. The truest way to be deceived is to think oneself more knowing than others. La Rochefoucauld comments on the dangers of overestimating one's knowledge. This maxim warns against the arrogance of assuming superiority in knowledge, leading to deception. It highlights the value of humility and openness to learning from others. Few people have the wisdom to prefer the criticism that would do them good to the praise that deceives them. La Rochefoucauld points out the rarity of valuing constructive criticism over flattering praise. He suggests that true wisdom lies in embracing criticism that aids in personal growth. The quote reflects on the challenge of accepting hard truths for self-improvement. Almost all our faults are more pardonable than the methods we resort to hide them. La Rochefoucauld addresses the irony in how we handle our imperfections. This maxim suggests that the deceit or dishonesty we use to cover our faults is often worse than the faults themselves. It invites us to embrace authenticity and honesty, even in our flaws. When we are unable to find tranquility within ourselves, it is useless to seek it elsewhere. La Rochefoucauld emphasizes the importance of inner peace. He suggests that true tranquility and contentment come from within, not external sources. This quote highlights the need for self-reflection and inner harmony. Thinkers think and doers do. But until the thinkers do and the doers think, progress will be just another word in the already overburdened vocabulary by sense. La Rochefoucauld underscores the gap between thought and action. This quote implies that real progress requires a balance of thoughtful planning and decisive action. It calls for integration of intellect and initiative in pursuit of advancement. How can you expect another to keep a secret if we have been unable to keep it ourselves? La Rochefoucauld questions the expectations we place on others regarding secrecy. This maxim points out the impracticality of expecting others to maintain secrecy when we fail to do so ourselves. It highlights the importance of self-responsibility and confidentiality. Everyone complains of his memory, and no one complains of his judgment. La Rochefoucauld points out a common human tendency to criticize certain faculties while overlooking others. This quote suggests that people often lament their forgetfulness but rarely question their own decision-making. It highlights our reluctance to acknowledge flaws in our judgment. Before we set our hearts too much upon anything, let us examine how happy those are who already possess it. La Rochefoucauld encourages a reflective approach to desire and aspiration. This maxim suggests that assessing others' happiness with what we desire can provide insight into the true value of that thing. It advises caution in placing too much importance on material or external possessions. Neither the sun nor death can be looked at steadily. In this maxim, La Rochefoucauld touches on the overwhelming nature of certain realities. He implies that some aspects of life, like the sun and death, are too intense or profound to confront directly. The quote underscores the human limits in facing existential truths. We would often be ashamed of our best actions if the world only knew the motives behind them. La Rochefoucauld examines the complexity of human motives behind seemingly noble actions. This quote suggests that even our best actions might stem from less than noble intentions. It prompts a reflection on the genuine nature of our actions and the importance of sincere intentions. In love, we often doubt what we most believe. La Rochefoucauld reflects on the paradoxical nature of love and belief. This quote suggests that even in the deepest of emotions, uncertainty and doubt can exist. It highlights the complex interplay of faith and skepticism in romantic relationships. Second-rate minds usually condemn everything beyond their grasp. La Rochefoucauld comments on the limitations of narrow-minded thinking. This maxim implies that limited understanding often leads to the dismissal of complex ideas or concepts. It urges us to recognize and challenge our intellectual boundaries. Listening well and answering well is one of the greatest perfections that can be obtained in conversation. La Rochefoucauld highlights the art of effective communication. He suggests that the skill of attentive listening and thoughtful responding is crucial in dialogue. This quote emphasizes the importance of active engagement in conversations. It is with true love as with ghosts and apparitions, everyone talks of it, and scarcely anyone has seen it. La Rochefoucauld draws an analogy between the elusiveness of true love and supernatural phenomena. This quote contemplates the rarity and mysteriousness of experiencing genuine love. It highlights the common discourse on love versus the infrequent actual encounter with it. One may outwit another, but not all the others. La Rochefoucauld addresses the limits of cunning and deception. This maxim implies that while one may deceive some people, it is impossible to fool everyone. It underscores the inevitability of truth coming to light eventually in the face of collective awareness. Appreciation for joining our journey.